All right. What's going on out there in Facebook land? Just wanted to share some tips with everybody out there. You know, I feel like I'm an expert. I'm an expert on staying focused in times of isolation, as as outward as you all kind of know me to be. One of the things that I would like to share with you all is about my time that I did when I was younger. And I can't see who's on here yet. It says that there's 3 people on, but I don't know who it is. But in my teens and 20s, I had a different name, and that name was Drufus. And Drufus was the alias that I used when I was involved in selling LSD and marijuana, back when marijuana was illegal, and LSD was definitely illegal. So subsequently, as a part of that whole culture that I was involved in, not only was it a culture that I chose to be into, it was definitely a culture that I was born into, being the son of 2 parents that were drug dealers and involved in the drug trade. I was exposed to that whole way of life very young. And, growing up in that environment, you definitely gain like this warrior mentality, like that's what it was. And for me, LSD was the stone in my sling, and I felt like I was David, and the United States government was Goliath, the David and Goliath story. When I was out there, using that substance and selling that substance, it was about activating people, freeing them from their own mental place of captivity. And in doing that, I thought that I was actually doing the community justice. I thought I was helping people. And also, in my own life, like I can tell you that the use of psychedelics has like transformed me. I was a very violent person when I was younger, and anybody that grew up with me can attest to that. I was definitely usually the first one to get into a fight, out of all of my friends. And after the use of LSD, I definitely calmed down. So anyway, I wanted to share with you a little bit about, from 18 to 25, I was pretty much in and out of county jail and eventually in federal prison for selling LSD, mushrooms, and marijuana. And during that time, I learned a little bit about isolation and how to do time, and I think a lot of us are facing that right now. We're facing, like, how do we keep a level head, in the midst of all of this emotion, and in the midst of all of the energy that's out there, emotional energy. So I wanted to share with you some secrets that really have helped me in my life, stay focused and be able to do time, the time that I did when I was in prison, the 3.5 years, and have guys come up to me, on the yard, and guys would come up to me and they would say, I watch you in the way that you do your time, and you really know how to do your time. And that's like the greatest compliment that a person can get when they're in an institution. So I want to share with you some of the secrets that have helped me in my life keep, more of a focus and also a discipline. And inside of that focus discipline, I'm making a drum head here while we're talking. So, how to be successful. Now, success is definitely something that's relative to every person. But if we do go into a place where we are quarantined, And, it could come to that, as much as nobody wants to talk about it. That's definitely what's happened in Italy and some of the other places. And, if it does, there may be a lot of people that are panicked, that are frustrated, that are, looking at this isolation and finding themselves dealing with a lot of emotions. So I want to give you some secrets that have helped me, and in doing time and being able to relate to myself and to relate to others. So the first thing that I want to tell you that's the most important, I think, is finding a structure for your day and really working that structure, working, what we would call a program. What is your programming? What are you going to be doing, at 7 o'clock when you get up? Do you have a schedule, of what you're going to be motivating yourself to be involved in? And that, motivation, self-motivation comes with practice. When you're in an institutional housing setting and you don't have anyone telling you what to do other than saying, the meals are available at this time, the meals aren't available at this time, get up, go to chow, don't go to chow, we don't really care. But there's nobody, leaning over your shoulder telling you to make yourself better. You really have to be motivated by your own self-interest in order to reach that place of self-discipline, self-assertion, and creating a program. So this is something that I feel a lot of people that grew up in the way that I grew up, have been able to be inspired by. Because when you grow up, when you don't have a lot of discipline in your home, and both of my parents were drug addicts, drug dealers, and all involved in the drug culture, they didn't really set a lot of precedent for me to kind of achieve goals, in life. So I have had to create those opportunities for myself. And in creating those opportunities for myself, I've really found my own self-discipline. So that's something that I really would like to share with all of you here, is about that self-discipline. Being self-disciplined, being self-motivated, being able to create these sorts of discipline activities in your life that can help you, deal with emotions. The emotions of the energy that we're faced with right now, of course, but just generally, how do you live a successful life in this contemporary culture that really is not going to put it on you to succeed? It's not going to give you that desired self-motivation. There's nobody, when we get to the age that I am, there's nobody really looking over my shoulder telling me to be a better businessman, telling me to be a better father, telling me to... So I'm going to have to find that for myself. So first of all, one of the main things in your life that is going to give you that sort of optimal state of human design, it's going to help you really reach to a level of living a better life, for me, is the schedule. What is your programming? What are you doing in the morning when you first wake up? What is it that you're going to inspire yourself to be a part of during the day? And in doing that, right, you create a routine. And in creating a routine, your body, your mind, even like, I would guess in the neuroplasticity of our brains, we become aware of that disciplined programming, and our body begins to tell us, like, hey, it's time to get up. Myself, like I have real struggles sleeping past 7 o'clock. If I sleep past 7 o'clock in the morning, I just don't feel like, I don't feel right. So, and that's because my body is tuned in to its own program. It knows like what it needs. It knows how to survive, how to deal with emotions, how to deal with the stresses of the day. So 7 a.m. I'm awake and I'm ready for the day. Now, I generally like to do something physical first thing in the morning. I like to get out of the house. I like to go to the gym. I like to participate in bike riding, some kind of physical activity to clear my mind. And this sort of discipline is very important to me. It's a part of my own self-wellness and my own structuring of my program, my day. So I'm sharing with everybody here a little bit about, what would happen if, the world, we got into a place where we were having to isolate more, because of the virus spread, the pandemic, whatever you want to call it. So these are some keys that I found in my life that can really help us in isolating. And at the same time, I'm doing this, right? Doing this. Oh man, I looked, caught my phone there. I'm doing a drum head for a beater. So for a drumstick. So yeah, disciplining yourself. So what would it look like if you were quarantined in your house and you needed to create, hey Robin, all right. Oh, I'm making a head for a drumstick here. So this is the outside of it. I got the stick over there. So yeah, just trying to stay busy and sharing a little bit about programming, sharing a little bit about being mindful of how you discipline your day. And in doing that, you create a routine, and your routine will benefit you. It'll benefit your family. It'll benefit the community, because you'll be able to be that stable person that people will look to, and they'll admire you for that. When I did 3.5 years in prison. I'm a former prisoner of the war on drugs, and no violent crimes or anything like that. Just I sold some LSD to the wrong person, and in doing that I learned self-discipline, and self-discipline is something that I feel, if in the case of us being quarantined and us being even further isolated from one another, it could really help people and really motivate them. So yeah, so this is tanned hide right here. It's basically buckskin, is what they oftentimes call it. So, and then I'm using this like sinew cord here, kind of faux sinew. And I punched the holes in it. If you notice, I punched the holes, see around there, with the hole puncher first. And this is just, you get this at Harbor Freight. I think they're like about $7-8, something like that. And so I go around, I kind of cut out the mold of it, and then go around and punch all the holes there. And now I'm sewing them. And sometimes I do like this X pattern sewing. Other times I do just a single stitch. Yes, that's great. See, now these are the practices that I feel, could really benefit people, is that singing, up before dawn, singing to the sun. And that was one of the things that I wanted to share with everyone, is the power of prayer. Prayer is a very powerful tool for dealing with the emotions of a situation and circumstance that may be challenging. You may have the density of suffering or loneliness, and prayer, we are designed to be people that pray. And I can tell you that feeling of connection and relationship to Source is something that I value extremely. It's extremely important to me. And, I would encourage everybody to get in a daily practice of counting gratitudes, of praying ancient scriptures, of speaking language into your life that is going to help you feel like you are connected. So I'm at the saddle shop today, surrounded by all that stuff. Oh, very cool. Yeah, when you do leather work, you definitely need hole punches and you need needles. Oh, let me tell you about the needle that I'm using. So this is just a small needle. I have some different size needles that I use, like this larger needle right here. I use that one when I'm doing my rattle making, and set up a couple rattles too. So I did, this is kind of the mold, I guess, of the rattles. So I'm going to get this soaked. There's 2 rattles on there. So if you notice each one of the outlines, there's 4 outlines, which equals 2 rattles. So yeah, I'm going to get those soaked. That's an elk hide. Get those put in the water, and then tomorrow when I wake up, they'll be ready. So by the afternoon, I'll be ready to make a couple rattles, which I'm going to show everybody a video on how to do that tomorrow. And yeah, I've been really focusing a lot on the artwork. So we got 2 different techniques, 2 different secrets for helping yourself in case of a isolation situation or a quarantine situation. So exercise, doing something physical, whether it be, just walking around the house, moving your arms a little bit, doing some push-ups, patting yourself down, stretching, bending over, doing some yoga. Prayer is another very important skill and secret that can help you in your life to really be able to deal with a quarantine situation if that happens. And then artwork. What is the artwork that you have in your life? Do you have an artistic practice? Some of us, when we were young in high school and in college, or as a younger adult, we came into an artistic practice, and we put those things up because we're raising children, or we're working a lot, and then when we have extra time on our hands, it's an opportunity for us to step back into those artistic practices and really use art as a vehicle for transforming the energy that's in your life. This is the beautiful thing about art, is that when you use art in that way, it's going to give to you. It's going to give you a vehicle for releasing the density of your own mental situation. So as I'm going here and I'm sewing this, I'm talking to all of you, but I'm also, getting the sewing done. Oh, rattle making. Yeah. Tell us when so we can tune in. You know what? I'll go ahead and do that one tomorrow. Let's say around noon, Arizona time. So I definitely will be on tomorrow, and I'll show everyone how to do the rawhide rattles. So we're going to be working on an elk rattle tomorrow, getting the rattle part made. Tonight I may do some of the inlay on this one. This is one that I really excited about. I got the stones outlined on there. Some beautiful stones I have for this one. Some really nice Sleeping Beauty mine turquoise. I got some other stones on there as well. And so yeah, it's that one is going to be really good. I really wanted to use the sinew. This is the sinew cord. I got to soak that in water, but that's handmade sinew cord. This sinew cord that I'm using right now is the faux or artificial sinew cord, and it's good too. I use it on certain projects, but definitely for the rattles, the actual real sinew cord is the best material. And that one, I showed everyone how to make that sinew cord. That was taught to me by a friend of mine, native brother Ryan Black Coyote. He was the one who taught me how to make that stuff. And yeah, I use it in my rattle making. The issue with using the real sinew is that it takes a long time to do it. So those rattles I really charge kind of a premium price for. And right now I need to make some rattles because we need to make some money. You know, we work primarily in hospitals, so, you know, basically all of our clients, because of the pandemic, have canceled on us a whole month worth of work. Now we're going to be okay because, you know, we have some savings, and we also have some money coming in. But if we don't start getting some income in, it could get, you know, we're going to have to get a job. Ooh, that just doesn't sound too good to me. So, yeah, Monica, I think she just said, don't say that. Yeah, we've been successful entrepreneurs now for years. So, going back to the oh, we can't work if we're quarantined anyway, she said. So, yeah, so sharing, you know, the practice of your artistic expression, that's going to help you in the event that we would find ourselves in some kind of quarantine. You know, these practices are going to really help you maintain your own health. And in the midst of all of this that's going on right now, I would encourage you, you know, to stick with your practice, whatever that may be, your prayer practice. Robin was sharing that she wakes up in the morning, sings to the sun. Singing is amazing. You know, I posted a "You Are My Sunshine" medicine song on here today, and gosh, man, it just got hit with so many likes. You know, people need that sort of reprieve right now. You know, I'm definitely one that loves, you know, information, and I can overload myself on information very quickly. Okay, so we're done now with the drum head. And so I went ahead and did the actual X pattern on this. So I don't know if you can see it there, but yeah, it's a total X pattern. Something sounded like there was a bird or something over there. So now on the end, I just tie it off like this. There we go, right there. Tie that off. Tie it off again. Perfect. And then I'm going to cut this right here. Oh, the scissors are dull. Okay, perfect. And now I don't really like this side. I want to go with the rough side because this side doesn't really, I don't know, there was a spot on it or something. I mean, I like to use every little bit of leather that I have. So yeah, I'm just going to turn it inside out. And then the stitching is going to look a lot better too. And my chihuahua's going crazy. I don't know if you guys can hear him. Hey! Okay, cool. So now, so that's the way that drumstick looks right there. See it? Looks pretty good, like a little sock almost. Like you even say like a little medicine pouch. Kind of looks like. So I got a stick. Here's my stick. And this is going to go on the stick like that. And then that'll be our drumstick. So I need to get something to pack in there. So I think we got some kind of like cotton stuff over here. Yep, there it is. Yeah, and you can use almost anything to pack these drumsticks, but I'm going to use this stuff right here. It's like pillow packing material or something like that. So let's take a handful of it or so. All right, see that? Yeah, nice little. People use sponges sometimes. They'll use like a cleaning sponge. I've heard that is very common for making these drumsticks. But I just had that left over from something that was here. I don't know who. I got a bunch of art supplies one time, and yeah, so just use what we have, right? So now what I'm doing is the stick is in there like that, And then I'm gonna put the I'm gonna oh man, as I catch myself in the language that I have. So stuffing the stuffing in the drumstick. You want to get some there on the top to kind of be the pad. So that feels like it's pretty good. Maybe just a little bit more in there for the top. And then once you get the top in, you're going to start packing the stuffing around. So there we go. So that feels really good. Okay, now I like to turn it over like this. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's it. And then I'm going to start feeding this in there. So we do have a 14-inch elk drum right now for sale that Monica made. Beautiful drum. And this is going to be the stick to go with it. So I might do an inlay on the stick handle. Haven't really decided yet. But it definitely has room for a stone. Monica really likes doing the inlays and making really fancy sticks. Some of the sticks that she makes are really gorgeous. I just like a plain stick, to be honest with you. You know, you wouldn't know that from my rattles, right? Because my rattles are so intricate and have so much stones in them and so much... yeah, okay, now that's getting pretty good in there. Starting to get pretty full. I think I'm going to need some more padding actually, but yeah, if you look, see that? That feels pretty good, but it's still not very tight in there. So I'm going to pack some more material down in there, and I'm going to use this antler. So got the antler. I'm going to use that to kind of stuff the padding into and around the stick a little bit better. You see that? It's starting to come together pretty nice. So I'm gonna go get some more material. Be right back. All right. I got some more padding here. That's going to go in there. And I like there to be quite a bit of padding around the drumstick. I like it to be pretty tight. Lots of padding. So yeah, a lot of people use sponges. You know, they'll wrap a sponge around a stick, and that makes a really good padding. But I just don't happen to have any sponges right now, so I'm using this stuffing material, kind of pillow stuffing I think it is, but it's working. You know, it's kind of like use what you have, whatever you have available you can use, you know, to stuff in here. Feathers you could use even. I think feathers would make a pretty good one, especially if you had some real nice plumes, down feathers. That'd bring some really cool kind of energy into a stick, wouldn't it? Stuff it full of feathers. Might be something that I could do, actually. Thought about it a few times, but never have made a stick out of feathers. So okay, so that's, yeah, I think that's pretty good right there. Feeling pretty confident about that stick. So now from here, what I like to do is I like to take some of Sacred Super Glue. And this is some Gorilla Glue here. I like to put it around the base of the stick, just to kind of give it, so it's not gonna, it's not gonna come off if somebody gets really, carried away with it. Worst thing you can do is make a stick for somebody and they start playing, and then, next thing you know, they've gotten excited and the head of the drumstick is popped off. I've had that happen, or else they've made them and it's happened to them. So yeah, so I just glue it on there like that, kind of hold it on, and then I will show you the next part of it. So if you see that stick, it's coming together kind of nice. A little bit of a bulge right there, but that's all right. Oh, I got a little bit of a bulge too. All right, so next part of this is we're going to get some rawhide that's been soaking in the water, and I am going to show you. Let me see if this will hold like that. Might need something to lean up against it. Let's see. Put this on there. Might keep it from falling. Okay, great. So now I'm going to go get the rawhide, and that's what we're going to wrap around the bottom of it. And that's going to seal this part to the stick itself. So I'll be right back. Got the rawhide. Oh, actually, you know what? The rawhide's right here. Never mind. So this is rawhide. This is not like this. This is tanned hide, and this is rawhide. So this is basically just pulled off of the animal, dried, and I'm gonna re-wet it. Right? I mean, it's wet right now because, but you generally have to re-wet the rawhide. So, all right. So now, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna use this, and I'll show you how I'm gonna seal that, because this is like such a great material. When it dries, it makes really strong kind of connection to the wood. So, give thanks for the elk, give thanks for the deer, all the animal people that gave us this, the tree people that gave us this. This is intention right here. So we always want to do, especially when we're making a drumstick or something like that, we want to give a prayerful intention to it. So as I'm wrapping this, I'm thinking good thoughts, trying to keep my mind in a good way. Now, oh, I didn't, wait, I'm going to rewind here so I can show you guys how this process works. So there's going to be a hoop right here, right? So this hoop is important to this process for this knot. So you're going to take that and then hold it with your finger so that the hoop, see how the hoop is right there? So that's maintained. So now you got two ends, one that's short, one that's long. The long end is going to be, you're going to pick a point underneath the drum head and then start to wrap. So once you get it around once, you should be good to go. So now just going to continually wrap around until you get to the buckskin. And once you get to the buckskin, you really got to start to tighten it, because that's where it's going to be tightened down to the actual stick. So see how your hoop is still there? Oh, I still got that hoop, right? You can see that. That's important, because once you get to the end here, that's going to be the point that you're going to cinch it down with. So I'll show you all how we get there, and then go through the hole. So okay, so now, right now I have the hoop and then the short end down here, and this was the long end, but now we're going to go through the hoop. See how I'm going through the hoop right there? And now pull that over, kind of hold it with one finger, and then brace this on the table. And sometimes, like it is right now, I really put that on there tight So I'm gonna need to go get a tool. Man, I'm just gonna run out of time. I'm gonna run out of juice right now, but I want to show you all how this is gonna go. So I need to get a pair of pliers. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is one of my favorite tools. It's called a Leatherman. It has like a bunch of different tools in it, but the tool we're going to use right now is the pliers. So I'm bracing it on the table. I'm holding this end with one hand, and then this one is where I'm going to pull it down. Now watch the hoop right there. See it? It's starting to shrink. See? Nice. Now watch. As I pull that down, it's going to go inside of the wrap. Oh. Yeah, it's on there pretty tight. So watch it disappear. See it? It's sinking in there. There it goes. All right, now it's completely wrapped around, and I have this little tail left. So I'm just going to take the scissors and snip very close right there. All right. Now I'm going to tuck that in. And when this dries, it will seal around there. And bam, you got a good drumstick. So that's a nice little drumstick. Did all the sewing on there. Got the stick right here. So yeah. Thanks everybody. Love you guys. I'm about to run out of juice here, so I gotta go put my phone on charger.